read the title right. OnePlus 7 Pro versus iPhone SE. Wait, why would you ever do a versus video with these two phones? It's pretty simple actually. These phones are completely different. One is boasting flagship specs for flagship consumers, while the other is aiming towards a more entry-level consumer. I also want to compare these two because it'll be a different experience. Whichever phone you choose, that's your choice, and we all respect that. I use both phones as of right now, one for personal use and the other for business. But which would I go with if I had to go with one? If you've been around, you'll probably know the answer. Let's get this comparison going. Design. These two devices are very different, especially when it comes to design. Obviously, the OnePlus 7 Pro is the larger device. It is clearly built like a flagship. Glass matte finish back, although I have a D-brand skin on mine. USB-C, alert slider, triple rear camera setup. It is all flagship quality. The screen comes in at 6.67 inches, which is awesome for watching videos as well as gaming. That full screen on the 7 Pro is because of the motorized front-facing camera, so no notch or no hole punch. The 90Hz refresh rate is also a huge plus for me. Quad HD? Check. Dual speakers? Check. This phone is an awesome package for entertainment, like I said before. I've been playing Call of Duty Mobile on this for a while, and you really gotta try out the screen. You'll hear me say it often, the part of the phone you use and look at the most is the screen, so it's awesome to know that you are always greeted with a gorgeous AMOLED display on the 7 Pro. But there is one thing I don't like about the screen, and yes, you've probably guessed it, and that's the curved edges. I'm sorry, but it just causes so many accidental touches, and even Samsung has been moving away from their curved screen. Okay, so now the iPhone SE. This is where things get very, I don't know, different I guess you could say. This design has been around since 2014, dating back to the iPhone 6. However, it resembles the iPhone 8 the most with its glass back and no headphone jack. I'm glad that the glass back supports wireless charging, unlike the 7 Pro. The front has huge bezels, which are accompanied by Touch ID. Now this design is definitely not in 2020 standards, but people are fine with this design, and I feel that only Apple could pull this off by releasing a recycled design with updated specs. Honestly, I really don't mind this design. I'll use it without any issue. It's just when you have the choice of choosing either one, I would personally choose the 7 Pro any day. Software. iOS on the iPhone SE and Android on the OnePlus 7 Pro. When it comes to software, it is all about the user preference. Many are committed to using the Apple ecosystem and enjoy the iOS features like iMessage and AirDrop, while others are avid Android users. Both the OnePlus 7 Pro and the iPhone SE run the latest software, 7 Pro on Android 10 and the iPhone SE on iOS 13. The iPhone will be getting 4 to 5 years of software updates, which really pushes users to hold on to their phones even longer. And since it's Apple's own chipset, own product, and own software, they have the advantage, and they can even optimize their newer software for older devices. For the OnePlus 7 Pro, we already got one major Android update, Android 10. We'll most likely get Android 11, and if OnePlus keeps up in the software department, we could potentially get Android 12. OnePlus in the past hasn't always had the best software updates, but they have really changed that up in the last 2 to 3 years. Anyway, the bells and whistles of both iOS and Android are out there and clear as day. The iPhone doesn't give as much customizability as Android would, but that makes it much easier for many people to handle. Android on the 7 Pro has been superb. I got the Android 10 update super quick after Google's official release, 18 days to be exact. The fast updates are always a plus in any phone. OnePlus's Oxygen OS is by far my favorite custom OEM theme on any Android. It is just fluid and buttery smooth, and with the extra features that OnePlus throws with it, Pixel users will be wishing that they had Oxygen OS too. Small things like the double tap to wake have been extremely useful for me. You can't find tap to wake on the iPhone SE, but you can with something like the iPhone 11 or 11 Pro. Like I said earlier, it all comes down to preference and which software you favor more. The iPhone SE is a perfect starting phone to enter the Apple ecosystem that Apple currently sells. The 7 Pro is going to give you a smooth, near-stock Android experience that you'll definitely enjoy. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, I'd really appreciate if you can give this video a thumbs up and turn on the bell notifications, as it does help out the YouTube algorithm and pushes my content to more people. Camera. The 7 Pro has a triple camera setup which performs pretty well. However, a little bit more software implementation just like Google, and these could be killer flagship cameras. Just look at the OnePlus 8 Pro for example. You always have the option to just side download the Pixel 4 camera APK, so no worries there. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the pop-up camera, but I've grown super fond of having a near bezel-less display. It is coming super clutch. When we compare it to the iPhone SE, the 7 Pro has two additional lenses, one being an ultra-wide lens and the other being telephoto. The 7 Pro also does have night mode called Nightscape, and while it may not be the greatest, it still works. It's really good to have an assortment of extra features for the camera because you'll never know when you'll need them. Moving over to the iPhone SE, it has one single rear camera coming at 12 megapixels, which is actually really good thanks to the help of the A13 Bionic chip. Now, there isn't night mode on the iPhone SE, and while it's not the biggest deal breaker, it does get you looking at other phones at the same price tag with features like night mode. For my limited use, the daylight photos come out very good, and I'll have to say they look better than the 7 Pro. When it comes to video, the iPhone SE is the obvious winner, and you know what I mean if you have used an iPhone before. Okay, yeah, you get extra features on the 7 Pro like being able to record video with the ultra-wide angle lens, but quality is what really matters, especially for me, and the iPhone's video just looks better. If this phone you're going to use is for YouTube, vlogging, social media, or your main powerhouse for photos, but especially videos, the iPhone SE will not disappoint. You can have your own opinion, and remember, that's totally fine. Battery life. They both will last you the entire day based on how you use it. The OnePlus 7 Pro is a larger phone with a 4000 mAh battery and also has a 90 Hz refresh rate, so that can kill a bit more battery. So if you want to conserve battery, you can drop the refresh rate to 60 Hz, but then that kind of ruins the whole point of having a 90 Hz refresh rate. Being inside during this time, it's been pretty tough to test the iPhone SE's battery, but from how I've been using it, the phone lasts me if I respond to some emails, text, browse the web, or social media. You know, the light work. If I start to watch YouTube videos or play some games, then the battery begins to deplete much quicker. The iPhone SE comes in around 1821 milliamp hours. I gotta give credit to Apple for one thing though, and that is standby time. The iPhone SE will not drain a single percent when it's not in use. Like, I could wake up in the morning with the same percentage on my iPhone SE, but if I go to my 7 Pro, I would have lost 5% by the morning. For an average consumer, this phone's battery should be fine for the iPhone SE. However, if you're consistently on your phone, get ready to charge your phone or carry around like a portable battery bank or anything like that. Consistently watching, gaming, YouTube videos, whatever it is, or just always using your phone is something the OnePlus 7 Pro can easily tackle, much better than the iPhone SE. Wireless charging is only apparent on the iPhone SE too. The 7 Pro does not have wireless charging because at the time OnePlus believed that it was not yet ready for mainstream, but you'll still get warp charge at a speed of 30 watts. I literally charged my phone in 30 minutes and I'm up from 25% to around 80%. Warp charge has come in real clutch. Granted, you can fast charge the iPhone SE at 18 watts, but you'll need to buy that adapter separately. Extras. A fingerprint scanner? Yes, sir. The iPhone SE has Touch ID on the home button, which is super fast, and the 7 Pro has an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is actually very fast. Now, the 7 Pro also has Face Unlock, which is also fast, but not as secure, and I wouldn't really recommend using that as often because of the motorized camera. Neither phone has a headphone jack, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of us are already used to that. One thing I really like on the phone, on both phones actually, is the mute switch, or the mute slider, whatever you want to call it, on the 7 Pro and the iPhone SE. Whenever I switch to another phone, this physical slider is something I always look for, and I'm glad that Apple and OnePlus implement these in their devices. Every other company should take note and add a mute slider. You'll understand just how convenient it is once you start to use it. Price. The 64GB iPhone SE comes in at $399. However, I think that the perfect choice for most is the 128GB variant, which comes in at $449. Now, after the OnePlus 8 series came out, OnePlus decided to stop selling the 7 Pro, which I guess makes sense. They still sell the 7T if you just wanted to know. Obviously, the price has also dropped, and you can find listings of the OnePlus 7 Pro at so many different prices online. Condition, color, and configuration will vary, but really anything from literally $290 to $500 is available. Even for $500, this is a huge deal and a very good buy. When OnePlus released this phone, it was starting at $669. And the top-end model, which is the one I currently have, was starting at $750. The starting price for the 8 Pro is $899, and if you want to go for a top end, that's $999. Now, while that may seem like a lot, which it is, OnePlus definitely has its reasoning for that. They added more features to fully give it the flagship treatment and to compete with the big guys out there. Okay, so these prices still are not cheap. $300, $400, $500. That's quite a lot of money for a lot of people. However, when you compare them to flagship devices of today, like the OnePlus 8 Pro or the iPhone 11 Pro or the Galaxy S20 Ultra, then, well, yeah, we can call these phones budget friendly. Anyway, if price is something you pay attention to, neither will disappoint. Just understand and try to see which one is the better bang for your buck. My final thoughts. I always say this for each of my videos. Choosing a phone, and in this case, the OnePlus 7 Pro or the iPhone SE, is all about preference. Both phones are genuinely good phones. Let me go ahead and share my preference. I would go with the OnePlus 7 Pro if I would have to choose. I've been using this as my main daily driver for more than a year now, and I've not been upset with my choice. And in fact, I don't find the need to upgrade to the OnePlus 8 Pro. It's just something about OnePlus that always brings me back. The display, software, speed, I mean, everything about it just impresses me. And no, OnePlus did not sponsor this video. There's no sponsors, so don't worry about that. Now, the iPhone SE is amazing too. A lot of people might not like its outdated design, and that's perfectly fine. When I switch over from my 7 Pro to the iPhone SE to use for business purposes, it does take a quick second to readjust to look and feel, but nothing too bad. I love OnePlus. I personally love OnePlus, but I've also had a liking for Apple recently too. If you go iPhone SE, it is the perfect way, in my opinion, to enter the Apple ecosystem. If you go with the 7 Pro, you'll really enjoy the Android performance along with that speed. So whether you decide to go with the iPhone SE or the 7 Pro, they'll perform the way you need it to. And whichever phone you choose, you'll know exactly what you're getting into. Anyway, everybody, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to Superman that like button, comment down below, because with the more interactions we get on this video, not only helps the video and the channel, but also pushes the video out to more viewers. And best of all, Superman that subscribe button. Until next time, everybody, and until next video, this is MTG.